Hey YouTube, happy Friday. Today I want to talk about the Hims and Hers company, which has dropped over 20% today. And in my point of view, this company is basically just a generics company. But the stock has been recently just, skyrocketing because it was able to go through a regulatory loophole that allowed them to compound the drugs Ozempic and Wegovy because the drugs were initially put on a shortage list by the FDA. But since the supply is no longer in shortage now, as of today, according to the FDA, this is a major problem for these weight loss compounders like Hims and Hers. And I actually just checked on the FDA today on the FDA website. You can see that today is February 21st, and then that status has been resolved for all these drugs here, Wegovy, Ozempic. They're all the supplies are no longer in storage, and this should be a really big problem for the stock going forward, because if you also check on the announcement that this FDA, will refrain from penalizing the makers of the drugs for 2 more months. But that time is very short, and it's running out. So if you're a company that has been basically riding this wave on selling this drug, and all of a sudden that it's no longer in storage, and then that the FDA might say that you're no longer able to sell it, that's going to be really devastating for the stock going forward. So if we just look at the chart here, you can see this big drop. The stock was actually trading in a rising wedge, which usually breaks to the downside, but it actually broke above. So if it does re-enter this channel, that will be a very bearish sign, because this would be a false breakout. So I would expect as we inch closer to the 2-month deadline, the stock will continue to drop and maybe re-enter this rising wedge, and we'll see if this yellow pivot here at $25 holds. If it doesn't, then we can see a lot more downside. But the good thing is that we do have this pivot here at 25, and you can see that on the weekly time frame here, you can see my 50-day moving average. It looks like it's converging. It will be converging at the pivot as well. So this would be a much watch level for me for the stock at 25. But what's bad for Hims and Hers is really good news for Novo Nordisk, who is the pharmaceutical that brought this drug to the market. You can see that the stock was trading as head and shoulders, and it continued to fall through all these supports until it hit the 200 moving day average here on this blue line here. And then the 200 moving day average also converged with the short-term resistance here at 78. And since mid-December, it's basically held the support above both of them. And upon the news today that the FDA will end the shortage, the stock has rallied over 6% now, and now it's retesting the short-term resistance at 88. So if the stock can continue to rally and break through this resistance, I would expect it to continue to move up towards this pivot here at about 104. And again, I want to go back to this 2-month deadline the FDA has given these compounders. This is from their earnings call back in November, and in the earnings call decided that there are hundreds and thousands of potential compounders in the U.S. alone. So if the FDA comes in and says, okay, you guys cannot make these anymore, and the only way the patients can get them is through Novo Nordisk, that's a huge lift to their revenues and sales for the company. So if that's so, I would expect that the company stock will continue to keep rising, on the back of this, on the fact that they can reclaim all this market share that they had initially lost to these compounders. And the last thing I want to just share that is that very recently we saw a lot of calls come in just in time. So this is on the 18th. I shared this on the 18th when there was a $740,000 bet that was made on Novo. You see that it's traded here about the $80 calls, and it came in above ask. A couple of days before that, there were also a bunch of $85 calls that I highlighted on my Discord. And even before the setup, when the stock dropped to the 200 moving average, and I saw that we've been down here for the last couple of months now, since mid-December, and it's been holding. I've already went ahead and bought shares at $79. So this rally has been great. The news has been very welcoming for us in my Discord. So if you guys like this content, please continue to tune in, subscribe to my Substack. That's where I share my best setups and charts, and I'll keep pumping these videos out for you guys.